Hi, everybody, and welcome back to my mini series on how to use Calendly to the best of your ability for your business. Um, I know last week we talked about just kind of setting up your calendar and making sure that it aligns well with your personal calendar or your business calendar or whatever main calendar you use to record your appointments and client appointments, doctor's appointments, etc. So today I want to kind of go more into the importance of the intake form that you create for your Calendly appointment calendar and just like preparing the confirmation email that goes out to your people who schedule appointments with you and how it necessarily works in Calendly for you. So let me just share my screen here. Give me a second. Okay, so here's Calendly. This is what your dashboard looks like when you log in. Today, we're going to focus on Discovery Call, um, which is the one calendar. Now, if you're somebody who offers service-based services, you're a service-based business, this calendar will become very important. So it may be like a discovery call or a consultation or an intake call. Like you want to make sure that you're being very specific about one, what calls you're doing with clients or leads or, potential clients or anything like that. And then two, how long you're spending time with them. So like say you do like an intake call with someone to see if you're going to be a right fit or you can answer any questions they have. I like to call them a discovery call because you discover if whether or not you two will be a good fit for each other. And as you can see, it's only 20 minutes. I try to stay within that 20 minutes. Every now and then the call goes over, but as I have grown in my business and as I've worked with other business owners, I have taught them to separate the discovery calls or the intakes, whatever you want to call it, that initial call as separately from like a strategy call or a consultation or something like that and charge for that because your time is valuable and you want to make sure that you're, reeling people in how you need to and weeding out people that don't necessarily fit the category of your potential client. So that's why these calendars are important. So we'll click open the discovery call one. This will be your initial calendar, your main calendar where people can book a call or an appointment with you. And we'll focus on the invitee questions. The invitee questions is the intake sheet. This is what I mean when I say it should be more detailed. As you can see, it just has name, email, phone number, and share anything that will help prepare for our meeting. And that's not realistic, okay? So that's not really helpful, especially if people don't know what you do or they're not sure of what you do. So you're trying to pull information out of them that will help your call to be more efficient, okay? So, name and email can stay the same. Phone number is optional just because it depends on how you want to meet with your clients. Now, I know that on the free version of Calendly, you cannot book a Zoom meeting with people, but you can set this up as a two-step process. So, say you want them to fill out the intake sheet first before you decide if you want to meet with them via Zoom or talk to them on the phone. So you would take that option out, and then once they book an appointment with you, you can send them an individual email with your Zoom link or with your phone number they can call or ask them for their phone number. But for now, we'll leave it here for the purpose of this mini tutorial that I'm doing here. So now that you have the contact information, this is, you want to delete that question. just delete it. For me, I like to learn about what the business owner is. Remember, you only have 10 ways to ask a question or 10 different questions you can ask a client or a lead. So you want your questions to be very strategic. Questions for me, I'll ask, what's the name of your business? And I'll make it required. For me, I don't want anybody submitting an intake form that has no information on it. Because for one, I can't, how can I evaluate if we'll be a good fit for each other? And how do I know that you're not just going to pull information out of me during our call? And then two, because it's just not helpful. So you make it required so that they, don't accidentally submit it without answering any of the questions. And it makes them think too. They have to do work on their part so that you don't have to do as much on the back end. Okay. For answer type, you can create like different things. So one line is if, it's a short answer. Multiple lines is something if you want them to explain something. Radio buttons are nice if you want them to do like one option answers, like yes or no, yes, no other. Check boxes, they can select more than one thing. So, it all depends on what the question is. So, what's the name of your business? Apply it. Do you have any team members in your business? Make it required. So now you'll see radio buttons. Yes, no. And then with Calendly, they have the include other option. So they can select other and type in what the other thing is. And this is very helpful because, sometimes some people have like people who are off and on, or sometimes when a question is asked, there's not one solid answer. So you want to give that other option available to your clients. And then depending on what the call is for, so say like you're a makeup artist, or you're a skincare consultant, or let's see, what's another thing? Or you're like a massage therapist or something that has to do with skin, like beauty and skin. You always want to ask the question, do you have any allergies? You know? So I'll do you have any allergies? Radio button, yes, no. And then, I'll make it required. You could delete that extra one. It doesn't need to be an option because there's, it's either you do or you don't. And then the next question would be if you answered, I can't spell today. If you answered yes to the question above, please list all of your allergies below. Now, with these kind of questions, you don't have to make them required, because if they answer no to the previous question, then they don't need to answer this question here. So that's one of the ones that I would leave. And I would make it multiple lines so that the box is bigger and they can fit everything they need to in there. So that's really good to use if you're like somebody who's going to be using products on people, or selling products that people like a physical product that people would put on their body. Um, so yeah. So the more strategic you are with these questions, the better your consultation or intake or discovery call will go. Um, Another thing, like if you're like a tax professional or you're a virtual assistant, you want to make sure that you're asking clients, what areas of your business are you struggling with right now? Or if you're like a tax consultant, you would say, What issues are you experiencing with your financing? What questions do you have about budgeting? So things like that. That is going to help your call go like that versus, okay, let me write down all of these questions or let me do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now that you have an idea of what these questions should be, I would say take some time to write your questions down. Use the last consultation that you did with a client and use it as your roadmap to completing a 10 question intake form for people moving forward. You always have to use prior experiences so that you can apply, you know, procedures for other people who book calls or appointments with you. You want things to go as smoothly as possible, and you also don't want to be wasting your time, especially if you're limited on time. Okay. So once you filled out your intake sheet, you're going to say save and close. That's perfect. Now, there is notifications and a cancellation policy. Now, you can personalize the email that they receive when they book a call with you. So it'll say, this is automated and already, they already put that there. But if you had something you wanted, like something extra you wanted to add, say like your Zoom link, then you would use it in that email confirmation. Please meet me on Zoom during this time at this Zoom number or Zoom link or whatever. And that's really helpful. But I recommend that you get the paid version of Calendly so you don't have to do that, especially with the way that this pandemic is going. You want stuff to be virtual if you're not going to be speaking with people over the phone. So pay for the paid version. You'll get the access to be able to include your Zoom link. It links to your calendar. You don't have to do any extra back end work. And you can also make email reminders. I like to do these because a lot of people forget about their appointments. So what I do is I have them have this email sent out 24 hours before. The reason why this is important is because if somebody's looking to book a call with me and I only do my consultations on Tuesdays and, Wednesdays or something like that, I want them to know that their appointment is coming up so that when that day comes, I don't have to be, sitting on Zoom waiting for them to show up. And sometimes, it happens, even with our emails, sometimes we don't get a chance to answer them right away or we don't get a chance to see them right away. So every now and then I'll pick up the phone and call them. Um, but yeah, this kind of prevents that. And you can shave the time down. It doesn't have to be 24 hours before. You could do it 2 hours before. You can do it a few days before, a few minutes before. So I would say think about what's most useful to your target audience and go from there. For me, my clients, a whole day in advance is good for them, but your clients may be people who don't always check their emails, or they're only going to go into their email when it's time to do the appointment with you so they can get the link to Zoom. So you may want to send it like 15 to 20 minutes beforehand. So yeah, it'll be right there and then they can meet you. Um, but definitely save that. The text message reminders, I believe this is only for, people who sign up for the paid version of Calendly. You can give it a try. I don't use it because I don't call people on the phone. I mostly keep my meetings virtual through Zoom, especially for my notary appointments. So it's all for your preference. If you're somebody who uses the phone, if you think that people who you work with or your ideal audience would be better off with a text reminder, then yes, this is something you want to do. Just make sure you have the phone number option available in your intake sheet so that they put their phone number in there and they can be sent a text message. But once it's done, you just click, oops, save and close. Sorry. I hate when this does this. Okay. So you click save and close, and that's it. So now it's all set up. Those two things are going to be the best things that help you with making sure your clients are well informed about their meeting and making sure that they're reminded that they have a meeting. And also, it gives them something to think about before they're booking a call with you. You don't want to just meet with any old body. that's that's me personally, but I think for my clients, it helps them too, because you don't want to work with someone who's not going to take the time out to fill out the information you need them to before they meet with you, especially because we're in a pandemic. You want to shave down time where some of you meet people face to face. You don't want to ask these questions when they're there. I mean, even if you wanted to do like a pre-COVID sheet, you can reach out to Miss Janisha Rouse. She is a good friend of mine. She is the Duchess of Savings, and she has a pre-COVID sign-in sheet where you can ask people these questions before they enter. Don't waste your intake questions on those for your appointment because things may change before you meet with people. But you definitely want to be strategic about what you're asking your clients before you meet with them. Whether you sell products, you do services, face-to-face services, anything like that, you want to be able to get the information you need that's going to help you do your job better. Okay. So the next series, I'm going to show you how to embed your form into Calendly. How to embed your calendar from Calendly into your website if you have a website for your business. If you don't, remember, you can always go to your calendar in here and click on the copy link option here. Sorry, I thought it was somewhere else. But you can create a single use link, meaning that only people who you send them to will receive this link. You can have it where it's general. So, here I'll show you. Copy link. This is the general one. And you paste it in. If you send that over to somebody who's looking to book a call with you, this is what will pop up for them. Okay. And then let's say you use your main Calendly link, like I told you about. So you do copy your link and you share that main link. They will see all of the calendars that you have available. I say only use this option if, it's going to be on your website. But honestly, this option to me, in my opinion, is not helpful, especially when working with clients. You want things to be straightforward. They don't even have to think about it. If you send them this link, they're going to be like, well, which call is it? So you send them the link directly to the calendar you want them to book. If you only have one calendar, then this works. But if you have more than one calendar, this kind of gets a little crazy. So, so yeah. That's a nice little tip to add on to today's lesson. But I look forward to seeing you all in my next tutorial. I hope that you are enjoying this series. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and, just give it a try. If you don't like it, then, at least you can cross it off the list of things that you've done. So I'll see you in my next video. Take care, stay safe and healthy, and talk to you soon.